Hello and welcome to Top Fives, the show of everything. Top Fives, presented by the Sex Effects. I'm Joey Prati.
And I'm Sean Day.
And folks, we have we're getting back to basics on our program. We're doing just kind of a regular old episode. We're going to talk about some movies. We're going to talk about some songs, and we're going to have a good time. But before we get to all that, Jonathan, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I was rushing over here for the show because I did a photo shoot today, which is something I never do.
Did you? Was it nude?
It wasn't nude. It wasn't
was
a
it black
modeling.
and white at least, so it was classy.
You know what? It could be black and white.
I suppose any photo could.
But yeah, I'm excited to Maddie and I from the Sonic Riders, we were just like, hey, we need to we don't have any photos of us at all, so we're like, why don't we get some photos done? And weirdly enough, before the pandemic started, I was hitting up my homie. He was a coworker of mine, my friend Daniel, and he was like, oh, I'm trying to take some photos, kind of put together like a portfolio. And I remember talking to him about it, and the pandemic hit, and I was like, I don't know if we could do photos, dude. And it just kind of fell off to the side. And now that kind of the pandemic's kind of subsiding a little bit, I was like, oh yeah, we should hit up my friend Daniel and see if he's open to taking some photos. And I think it'd be really cool to get some in the studio photos or whatever. So that's what we did today. We booked a little studio, this place called In the Mix Studios.
In the mix,
which is really cool. It's my first time there, and rate's pretty good. So I'm actually going to talk to you about that after the show because I know we've talked about possibly recording some music, and anyways, place is great, and we had some kind of action shot type stuff because we're producing. And
leaning over the board and
touching the knobs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
right on.
But yeah, it was fun.
Cool.
And then my coworker Daniel, who was helping us with the photos, he was like, oh, I know a cool spot in downtown that has this cool alleyway with kind of that New York style fire escape kind of look.
Right on.
So we did that, and of course it's stuff subsiding. It's Thursday or Wednesday night, downtown Los Angeles. So just getting back and with all the traffic stuff was kind of hectic, but it was a lot of fun. Photo shoots, because I know a lot of people, especially people I've worked with, artists or whatever, they do a lot of that stuff, and that's a normal thing for probably a lot of artists and stuff. It's just not a normal thing for what we do or whatever. So but it was fun and interesting, and Daniel, who did our photos, was just very attention to detail. So I thought that was really cool and very professional. So thank you, Daniel, and we'll try to link you your stuff in there as well. So
very nice.
Maddie Worldwide, I can't believe you are podcasting after the last 24 hours. I'm canceling. We've been just constantly trying to. We've been doing this photo shoot thing for last few days, so it's trying to figure out how to get all this stuff done.
Hopefully you got one that works.
Yeah,
for 2 days, Christ, son.
We took all the photos today, and I think we have over 1,000 to 2,000 photos or something like that. So we have to look through all those and see which ones we want to move. Selects.
Yeah.
So yeah,
very nice.
So that was
cool,
fun,
man.
But so far everything's okay. Some other stuff that's happening in the background, but might lose my place. We'll see. Yeah, that's a whole nother story, but we'll save that for another time.
We'll say that. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Boy. Yeah, but yeah, life is aight. It's aight. It's happening. I'm having a good time. Trying.
Yeah.
Anyways, Joey, how are you doing, dude?
I'm exhausted. I'm drinking coffee.
Oh, coffee for the show?
Yes. This might be a first. I don't know.
I think I've never seen you drink coffee on the show, dude.
And this is what's up, Maddie? This is my first this is my favorite mug. I use this mug every day, and because I don't have a dishwasher, it gets washed every day. I'm not being gross, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm very diligent about my dishes, but I am I'm exhausted as well, man. I mean, I haven't had my picture being taken for the last 48 hours, but I did do yoga for the first time yesterday.
Yoga. Ooh,
I went to a
interesting.
yoga class. Yeah.
Okay. How was that?
And uh, very weird and intense and almost cultish. I didn't like it at all.
Whoa. Okay. Okay.
But it was, I mean, I felt the workout, and then afterwards, Lisa and I cooked dinner, and like, we were like, oh, we could eat there. Ooh, we could have a glass of wine there. And it was like, no, let's make dinner. And like, so it was, I feel good, but I'm my body is like, and I drank 2 Joeys over the weekend. So
Oh man. Okay.
I was Saturday, I was working on, I don't remember what Friday was. What was Friday? Oh, I hung out with Matt.
Oh, okay.
Took me
Okay.
to this wonderful Mexican spot, Barrio, down North Beach on Green Street. And then Saturday, I wrote for the first, like, the afternoon. I finished the first act of the screenplay I've been working on. And I was like, well, I'm going to go treat myself. And I walked down to North Beach because bars are open again. And
Yeah,
like,
things open right now. Yeah.
before the pandemic, I was a bit of a bar fly, and I'm not trying to go back to that, but I also kind of wanted to blow off some steam and just meet weird people. You know what I mean? Like, so I walked down to, me and Andrew discovered the Saloon on Grant a couple of years ago, and you walk in, it's just bluesy. They've always got a blues band playing, and I walked in, music was going, and just, its place has been open since the 1860s, and the people that hang out there are definitely the same people that were there in the 1860s. You know what I'm saying? Like, the bartender was just this guy that did not like me because he was gigantic and old school. And then, he gets off his shift and he throws on a Hell's Angels jacket and takes off on his motorcycle. I'm just like, wow. So I was there for a while, not to mention all the beers I drank while I was riding.
Mm-hmm.
I had a salad at Joe's of Westlake and a shot of beer there. So I was toasty. And then the next day, Alicia and I dropped off Mart, and we went to Sonoma and met up with her friends, and did some wine tasting.
Oh, wine tasting?
Wine tasting. I'm not a big
wine.
I don't get the point of, like, I already don't like being wine drunk. And I don't really like drinking alcohol just for the flavor, unless it's like a good whiskey or something like that.
It's a different hangover too, right? Like, I feel
it's you get that cotton mouth, you get the headache, you get the brain swells. I'm not a big fan of the wine drunk. But we had the wine taste, and we did dinner, and then had a number of cocktails, and then drove back Monday morning. So I feel like I've been hungover for 2 days, and then I went and did yoga yesterday. So I'm just kind of physically depleted. And Marty woke up Saturday, his just yelping. His back is killing him. So I got to get him to the vet on Monday. So he's just been old man river for the whole week. Yeah, breaking my heart a little bit, but
breaking my heart. Well, at least you got to go out and do some stuff, man. Like,
yeah, man.
Yoga. I actually have never really tried yoga.
It's not something I ever thought I'd do, but it was like, you know what? They're doing it over at the cathedral. That'd be kind of cool. It was a big class, but it was hard to hear. I didn't know what I was doing. Thank God I had Alicia with me that I could like kind of look over and be like, okay, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? Because my body, I'm not bendy. I'm not a physical dude. I mean, I'm physical. I'm let me give myself some credit. I can be physical, but I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not an athlete. I mean,
especially,
I don't want to sell myself short, but I'm not bendy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And it's been a minute since we've we don't do like sports that much or anything like that these days.
No.
And, like,
we stopped playing soccer in freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was when we were at the peak of our prime physicality.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so something new, something I can say I did it. I'd do it again.
You know what? I'm all about like new experiences, like especially after this last year, dude. And just like we've talked about traveling more, and like hopefully that's something that we can get to do sooner or later.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. Do you have any plans for 4th of July? That is like literally around the corner too, as well.
Yeah. So. Gonna go with Lise to her family, and she's having her friends over they got like a pool barbecue, and yeah, I've invited some people on mine, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, cool, dude.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Um,
I have no idea what I'm
how
doing
about you?
on 4th of July,
No?
actually. Yeah, I just thought about that. I was like, yeah, it's like a few days from now. So I'm like, I got invited to kind of like a barbecue jam sesh kind of thing.
Oh, that would be fun.
That would be really cool. And then usually in Alhambra, where I live, there's just like, it's fireworks are legal still. So like it's just going off out here. So
That's wild, man. That's wild.
it's actually, and especially for the view we have from our house, it's really cool. So
Oh, nice.
I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling that day, I guess. But yeah,
I feel like
we'll
I've
see.
seen fireworks from your balcony. I feel like,
I-
and maybe
yeah.
that was just. I feel like it was the night we saw Paul McCartney. Maybe that's just there were fireworks in my eyes that night. Just I was just.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I feel like I've seen fireworks in your place though.
It's crazy on 4th of July. Yeah, you could see like literally like everywhere in this town. And then I guess it's not only just Alhambra. It's like because you could see them like further back too. And then there's like actual legit like fireworks shows that are happening like in the background. But we just have like just a great enough view that like we can see like all of it. And literally once it goes like dark enough, that's when people start setting them off or whatever.
Really? Yeah.
But,
That's when I start doing the snake.
Yeah. I mean,
That was
I have
like
a
my
balcony.
favorite. It's like
I mean, honestly, dude, I have a balcony. I was like, I just want to like shoot like someone else like off my balcony or something. So we'll see.
dude, no,
No.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Fuck, don't do that. No, I've been stuck on this Instagram for days now. Andrew sent me a post from there, and it's some of the most fucked up shit I've seen on Instagram ever. And like, it's just a lot of people lighting themselves on fire that
It's
don't
bad,
need to.
dude. Yeah.
Just please be careful and
Yes.
don't light anything on your deck. Listen to me. I sound 80, but seriously,
No.
just
the
come
best
on.
advice you're giving me right now. So
Come on, the fucking sky was pitch black half a year ago because
Yeah,
we couldn't
dude.
contain our fascination with I don't know. I'm not anti-fire. I love fireworks.
in a control environment,
Yeah.
safe. You got to keep it safe.
I did my 1 year. We would always go to my Uncle Pat's house, and we had gotten out of the hot tub. We were like doing. He's like, "All right, sparklers," and he hands us the sparklers, and the spark keeps going down. Well, they're not sparklers. It was something else, and we're holding on to this shit.
Oh, what?
And one of the sparks goes into lights my hair on. I've still got a scar on my head.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know
Again,
why.
I'm not anti-fireworks.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
just-
fireworks.
Fireworks are awesome.
But respect it all
Yeah.
I'm saying. Respect the
Respect
power,
the firework.
whether it's a flame or a gun or a fist. Respect.
Respect, y'all. Gotta respect it, man.
Yes.
That's what we all about,
Anyway.
man.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Um,
Safety, firework safety, everyone.
yes. Yes.
Why not?
Any good pop culture shit?
I haven't really been following. I finally like caught up on the whole like Batman going down on Catwoman thing after our
Yeah.
whole conversation.
You seemed very offended by that last week.
No, I
or 2
wasn't.
weeks ago.
I wasn't offended. I think it's just maybe maybe the use of it's. I find it interesting and funny sometimes where it's like, yeah, it's a whole debate on Twitter or like. It's gone so far that people are talking about this, but I could see why people are obviously joking about it, or, but there's like stuff to be said about that of like how maybe DC frames their characters, maybe like someone like Batman. So like, but
I mean, I agree on a corporate level, Batman should never do that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think-
for sure, yeah,
Personally, that the character would do that. Fuck yeah, any
Oh,
good
yeah.
man would do that.
yeah. It's actually I think I saw like a meme today where it was like a comic panel of like Batman and Catwoman, and they're like pretty much saying like we would go down on each other, like they were in agreement, like they kind of both were like, do you think DC would allow this? And they kind of poke at like, oh, this is kind of winking at like, oh, DC made this decision, like they're kind of like shoehorning this in there, but yeah, it was kind of funny how it and then just some of the like YouTube channels I watch where it's like, oh, that became like this, this is a story that
It was a
everyone's kind of
thing. Yeah.
talking about. So, but aside from that, I can't really. think of anything off the top of my
There's-
head right now.
There's just sad news. All I got is
Yeah.
sad news.
All
I
sad
mean,
news.
should we get through it? Should we kind of go real quick
I mean, real
through
quick.
the sad
real
news?
quick,
Okay,
real quick.
we're gonna real quick. I'm gonna name them. There's no order. They all suck. They all fucking suck. Cosby was released from prison
Oh, I did
for
not know
2
that one.
years. Oh, today on a technicality.
Shit, dude.
So he served 2 of his 3 to 10 year sentence, which is already like he was only going to serve 3 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So he's out. Bullshit. Britney Spears on the other end of the spectrum. Did you hear her testimony?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was some powerful stuff. And
Yeah.
the judge denied. Came in today. The judge denied her request to have her father Jamie removed as
Man.
conservator or whatever you call it. So that sucks. Free Britney, hashtag free Britney all the way. And Mark Hoppus has cancer.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I saw that post a few days ago.
So
which
all
is-
my love and support to Mark Hoppus and Britney Spears. Like honestly, like not even like joking or anything like that. Like God, my heart breaks for.
Yeah, and
them.
it's very interesting too, because yeah, man, like, you know, especially for, I mean, Britney Spears, like her, obviously, like her, how the being famous and like, yeah, kind of under that light, you know, it's I'm sure it's a lot to take on, and yeah, it's unfortunate because people get taken advantage of, and even by your own family members, so it's like,
Yeah.
it's some fucked up shit, man. And then with Mark, you know, it's, yeah, I mean, cancer's a thing. I'm going to talk about an album tonight outside of our lists for my share time. And there's a story with that, you know, with someone
cool.
dealing with cancer. And
Oh,
and
not cool. Sorry.
but you know, I think it's you know, that's the thing too. It's like no matter whatever if you're a celebrity or a famous musician or whatever, you know, everyone's kind of going through so many different things. And yeah, it's you know, we've been following Blink for a long time, man. So and yeah, it is sad to hear stuff like that, where, you know, we wish the best, at least for you know, him and his family and everything. So
Yeah.
and hopefully he fights, you know, hopefully he can battle this and fight it. And, you know, what we all hope for is maybe one day we'll get to see Blink-182 again live, you know. And then, yeah, I don't know. It was hard. It was a little hard to, because I was listening to a lot of Blink this week, weirdly enough. And like that news came out, I was like, oh shit. So, that's always tough.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's a bummer.
I mean, I just can't think of anything else, dude.
Yeah. Sorry to just.
No,
But
I think
you know,
you
this
know,
is what's going on right now.
and we, you know,
unfortunately.
when we talk Blink all the time, dude. So we're, you know,
Mhm.
we're huge fans of those guys, and yeah, man, it sucks. It really does. So
Yeah. All right. Shall we get on to lists?
let's do it.
Let's do it. Sean, would you like to go first? Would you like I to go first?
You go first, Joey. You go first.
I'll go first, Shawnee.
Hit it.
So Sunday is 4th of July,
Fourth.
and I'm bullshitting right now. I did not mean to tie this in, but I would like to tie this in because I want this to be the angle. Sunday is 4th of July, and you know who is probably the most iconic American songwriter of all time? Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
You know, the man has won and rejected the Nobel Peace Prize. He's kind of racked up every single award you can think of, I think. And you know, like for instance, not like I'm a bigger Cash fan personally, but I mean, like I understand that Dylan outshines kind of everybody, I think. When we were going to go see Paul McCartney, I said to one of my coworkers, you know, I think McCartney and Lennon are, you know, the only guys who 200-300 years from now people are still going to be like citing his influences, and like, you know, and he was like, Dylan.
Dylan for sure. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
you're right. And so yeah, so what are your top 5 favorite Bob Dylan songs?
Bob Dylan songs. I'm gonna request this, I think, of our show. I would like to do. I think we should do a Bob Dylan discography like weekly thing, like how we did with the Beatles.
That's so
Because
many.
I know it's a
I'm
lot.
down.
It is a lot, and I would like to be more familiar with Dylan stuff because he has so many albums and songs that he's written over the years, and I'm probably gonna pull from kind of two. I'm actually pulling from I think 3 albums, like kind of central albums for the top 5. But I was listening to the song. It was yesterday and today a lot. For number 5, I got Karina Karina off of
good
Free
song.
Willing. Love the song. It's out of all like the Dylan songs, I liked the like kind of the melody and the kind of song structure of it. Like it's kind of fun and there's something for how a lot of Dylan stuff is kind of I don't know how to describe it. Like not raw, like raw, I guess, because it's that kind of folky. It has that
He's
like
just telling a story. It doesn't
Yeah.
have like
exactly, and I liked this one. It had, I wouldn't say it had more of a form or structure, but it just kind of, I liked all the elements in the song, and it became like one of my favorite ones off that album. So yeah, Karina.
right on. And real quick,
Yeah.
Shawnee, there are 39 studio albums.
Okay, that might be a challenge.
That might be a job, but you know what? That could be a fun thing where like, all right, someone's coming on to guest and
Yeah, I think that'd be cool because I definitely want to dive deeper into Dylan, and it's funny because I've gotten, especially with like Cash, like from you, I've been encouraged to check out more of like Johnny Cash. I know you've kind of listened to a lot of Bob Dylan stuff, so it's like, kind of I've been
last like
encouraged
2 years I've gotten very into Dylan.
into Dylan, dude. Actually,
But it's
I was going to
Oh,
ask
cool.
you maybe a little bit later, what kind of Dylan records do you have on vinyl? I was going to ask you that too.
Oh, I'll whip those out. I'll
Whip
whip
'em
those
out.
out, baby. Yeah.
But yeah, Karina, number 5. Number 4, off the same album actually. Honey, just allow me one more chance. Which I like this one because it's like it's like I mean, it says it in the title, but yeah, it's just kind of like asking, kind of like I wouldn't say begging, but like it's just that kind of like a song about kind of asking for obviously one more chance, like that kind of like hey, we had this go, we tried this, and I still have these kind of feelings about it. But what I again love about Dylan is he's telling a story. It's very, you get this kind of image of what's happening in the scene and everything, and it is. I remember when I remember listening back, and his voice is a little more like loose. I don't know. He has like a
Yeah.
weird kind of like, I don't know, twang to his voice or accent to his voice, and I know that's like some of the Dylan stuff that Dylan kind of goes for. But it felt more raw on this track. Funny enough, compared to like say Karina. So like, I enjoyed that one too, and I think what also I liked about this, and maybe with this album especially, I guess it's going for production side of it. I like the kind of, even though it's very minimal instruments, like acoustic, and maybe kind of like a very small drum or drum kit. I like the kind of how they recorded it and kind of made how they put like one guitar in one ear and like the kind of like more melodic lead in the other ear. And so I noticed that a lot with this album, especially. So
Take advantage of that mono.
yeah, the mono, everyone. So yeah, number 4, honey, just don't allow me honey,
Very nice.
just allow me one more chance. Sorry, it's a little tongue twister.
We got it. It is.
Number 3, Like a Rolling Stone off of Highway 61. Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most I think the most known Dylan song I probably can think of. I love the beginning riff. It just sounds so like
The beginning snare.
yeah, it's got a
Like,
good
it just-
start to the song, like a lot of power, and it's like this. I don't know how to best describe it, but it's not like it's like a super energetic. I mean, it is a very energetic song, but it just, the way it keeps like kind of like the title itself, like it just keeps rolling forward, and you kind of keep going with the song, but it still feels kind of like a chill song. I don't know how to really put that into words,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's probably one of my favorite things about that song. And then the chorus like melody and like a rolling stone. Yeah, I just freaking love it. So, but yeah, it's one of my. Okay.
Oh no, go for it. Go for it.
I was just gonna say again, it's just a familiar Bob Dylan song. I remember hearing it, and I think you've probably shown me this song before I heard it. But it's one that's synonymous with like Dylan, and probably one of his maybe well-known singles. And I try to like diversify it up on the list, but it's definitely one that sticks out to me and is something a Dylan song I could probably listen to a lot. So
Hell yeah. Rolling Stone magazine named this one the #1 song of all time.
Oh, interesting.
On their list of like 500 greatest songs of all time. And when I've only gotten invited because with screenwriting, like to be in a producer's office one time, and I'm sitting in this office, and the script deals heavily with a record store and record collectors and music and all that kind of stuff. And the producer is like, do you know what the greatest song of all time is? And I was like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. And he turned to the guy next to me and was like, you see, I told you I like this boy. Do you know why? Do you know why? And I was like, because Rolling Stone named it #1 song of all time.
Drop that fact in your lap.
It was just like, it changed everything. Yeah, of course it changed everything. He went electric.
Yeah.
Fuck. Ruined it. Anyway.
Number 2. Another well-known Bob Dylan song. I think if people think of Bob Dylan, they'll think of this song. The Times They Are Changing.
Yes.
It's again a very. I mean, you could apply it to a lot of different, in different ways. You can kind of interpret the song a few different ways and apply it maybe to stuff that's happening in today's world. So, again, kind of similar to. I mean, it's a little less, it's kind of more traditional Bob Dylan, kind of singing and just like acoustic, guitar. I can't remember if there's any other instruments happening.
I think it's just him and the guitar.
Yeah. Does he do the harmonica?
He might have a harmonica.
Yeah, I know that's always something that, he's definitely known for having this kind of guitar and harmonica combo. But yeah, it is a powerful song. It is a song that I can say that like, oh yeah, like it's Dylan as a songwriter and as someone who can spin these words and really kind of even though it's not word vomit, I would say definitely. I mean, there's a lot of different thoughts he has in his songs, but that's what I still like is like it's a story being told. You get like a lot of images out of what you're kind of hearing from him, and I think that's why Bob Dylan is probably one of those great songwriters because of that reason. So that song definitely kind of pushes that thought forward for me. So yeah, the times they are changing. And then this one was actually my #1. I don't know why it stuck out so much to me, and it's a long song. Desolation Row. It's the last song on Highway 61. It was like 11, 12 minutes long or something. And I don't know. I just like the song. I'm not hating on long songs at all because, it depends on what you're trying to say and what you're trying to tell with it. And I never thought at once that like, oh, this song is getting like, when's the song going to end? Like I was entranced by the like, Dylan and just kind of like what he's trying to say in the song. And I just think it's probably one of my favorites off of that album. I don't know what else to say about it. It's from what I remember, there's kind of similar to The Times They Are Changing, like kind of acoustic. I know there's some harmonica in it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I remember that's inside, but as far as just like music arrangement and stuff. But I like, again, it's very descriptive, very. It makes me think of like other singers that like and other bands I listen to, and of course the influence of Bob Dylan, and songs like this I feel can really come across and influence. I mean, obviously all the albums can do that, and some other songs as well. But I don't know. I felt like this song, the way it kind of was paced, it just like it was good, kind of good writing and everything. So, Desolation
Well,
Row.
he always tends to end his records pretty strong,
Yeah,
I
and I
think.
like that. I like how he
Yeah.
did that on this record. So, but yeah, that's my top 5. I definitely want to explore more Dylan, and that's on me for sure to like go into that.
I mean, I'm down. It's gonna take a
I
while.
know that's good. I didn't realize there was that many albums, but we could find a way to sneak it in there somehow.
We can figure it out.
We
I
could do like
mean,
a
you know,
random gems kind of thing. Like maybe we don't do it like every week or something. We just kind of like, hey, we're gonna do a Dylan record this week. I don't know,
oh man.
something.
Well, let's think about it. Let's
We'll
think
think
about
about it.
it.
We'll think
'Cause
about
I'm
it.
down. I'm down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
number 5 for me, I think this was I had some money after high school graduation. Like Best Buy was having a sale, and it was like the red Dylan box set, just said
Ooh.
Dylan in black paint, and I was like, it was kind of like whiskey. Like, I'm gonna force myself to like this thing. I want this to be like a piece of my personality, so I'm gonna like force myself to listen until I like it. And I couldn't get into it. But the one song that I did that I fell in love with immediately was "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right."
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's off of Freewheelin', Bob Dylan, and um, we talk about Dylan like bending language, and there's this line that I love. Ain't no use in turning on, or ain't no use in turning on your light, babe. The light I never knowed. The way he says node, but then he goes, and ain't no use in turning on your light, babe. I'm on the dark side of the road. And it works beautifully. It fits so well. And like, the way he could play with language and play
Mhm.
with words has always been very kind of inspiring. And you get that right there in a sweet little heartbreak love song. So yeah, don't think twice, it's all right.
I like that song. It's a good song too.
Love that song. Number 4, it's off of his album Oh Mercy, but I know it from the High Fidelity soundtrack.
Oh.
Most of the time. Uh he writes good heartbreak songs of just like, I wouldn't care if I saw her. She ain't in my mind most of the time. It's all like he's making all these declarations that he doesn't care, that he's done caring, all this stuff, and then it's always most of the time. And it's just like it captures that kind of, how it's hard to let go. It's hard to, even when you're done, you're not done. It's beautiful the way he writes. Number 3, the last song on Bringing It All Back Home, It's All Over Now, Baby Blue.
Oh, wow. That's right. Okay.
That
That's a good
is
song.
a haunting song, but it's beautiful. The production's good. Say what you need, but it's all over now, baby. It's na 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 na. It's so like it's such a good. God, I love that song. I really, really love that song. When I was living in the Sunset, Nashville Skyline was my record. When like I was first moving in here, Bring It All Back Home was the record I was spinning a lot.
There's been a lot. Cool.
Yeah. So
Cool.
in fact, these early record or not early records, Bring It All Back Home, Blood on the Tracks, and Nashville Skyline, I think I could do a top 5 of just those records,
Oh, I
just
see.
on those
Yeah.
records.
There's a lot of good
I love those
songs off those. Yeah.
Almost every single song is a favorite. But yeah. Number 2 off of Blood on the Tracks, this was my like divorce anthem. If You See Her, Say Hello. So I first heard it in Californication when Becca is pining over, I believe, the guitar instructor.
Yeah, I
And
remember that
Hank
guy.
Moody
Yeah.
is like, "Boy Trouble, all right, I'm gonna give you one of the all-time greats," and he starts singing the song to her, and then the song comes up as the credits are kind of
Hmm.
um, it's a beautiful song. um, you it's such a real it paints such a real portrait of you know you lived a life with this person and now you don't, and it's where are they now? It's such a bizarre thing. um and you just have to move on and keep going and not try not to be bitter, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. There's like there's a song like that out there, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't get expressed enough through other songwriters, but yeah, that's a interesting, yeah, especially when you can relate it to stuff that's happened.
Yeah. But the whole album though, from Tangled Up in Blue to I'm blanking on all the other ones, but yeah, Shelter from the Storm. Yeah, I don't know. It's all really good. Number one though, like I said, I fell in love with Nashville Skyline at the beginning of the pandemic. This album is like 27 minutes long. It's over before you even realize it started, and it's every song is just like that sweet 2 minute spot. Like, we think of Dylan, we think of long songs and everything,
Mhm.
but these are all
Yeah.
like 2 to 4 minute songs. But it's the final track on Nashville Skyline, Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You.
Oh, okay.
I adore this song. And I mean, I suppose I'm a little biased because I was listening to this album as I was, falling in love with the girl I'm in love with now. And it was, but that song Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You is just, throw my ticket out the window, throw my ticket out the window, throw my suitcase too. Blah, 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 because tonight I'll be staying here with you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's not a care in the world, because he's got someone to be with and, to kind of go home to. And it's so easy to romanticize heartbreak and to kind of glorify heartbreak. And like, I want to be sad. I want to be, feel like shit. And to hear, and it can be hard to know how to express the good feelings in a song, because it's, the default is like pain.
Yeah.
How do you sing about being happy without pissing people who could potentially be, not looking for that? Like, how do you connect on that level? Because the shit we always listen to is always about a problem. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You focused on a theme of a problem and then delving into that. You don't think about, oh, this thing's great, let me sing about this. It was, the punk ethos of let's celebrate the shit. So how do you celebrate what's worth celebrating? And this is the song where it's like, it's okay to kind of be happy. It's okay to kind of be thankful,
That's a good way to put it, man. I like that.
Yeah. I'm insightful tonight, kids.
Very insightful, Joey. Damn. I like that list, dude.
I should drink more coffee more often.
Yeah, dude. Here's a question for you, because I know we're in a band called Blind Issues. If we were ever gonna cover a Bob Dylan song and like punk it out, Blind Issues style, what song do you think we could play?
I would probably say that one. Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You, or anything from that album, because I think those are the most in our. We're not going to get up there with our electric guitars and do The Times They Are Changing. That's just not going to be a full band thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to do that. But we can take a song like Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You, or Peggy Day, or like, maybe Mr. Tambourine Man or something like that.
Okay.
We could do something with that and make it our own and do something like that.
That'd be cool. We should try.
It would be fucking cool, man.
Play some Dylan.
I'm always down to kind of experiment in that realm. Yeah,
let's do it.
Fun. Hell yeah.
Cool, Dylan. Okay, yeah. I didn't realize he had that many albums. So I'm sorry about that, but I'd be down.
Real quick, you want me to show you my collection?
Oh yeah. Joey's yeah, some vinyl. We got some vinyl sharing happening right now on air. Ooh, this is cool.
So here's my collection.
It's my
I
collection.
don't have his first record, but I do have his second, the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan.
I like that cover. It's cool.
I
It's
do
a cool
too.
cover.
It's a very cool cover. I like this cover even more, Bringing It All Back Home.
Oh, what? What's he holding?
Yeah.
Oh,
A cat, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
okay.
a cat.
See the Time magazine in the background.
Time magazine? I don't need Time. I've never been in Time magazine. Your readers don't know me. You're gonna give them a quota. The times they are a changing.
Nice.
Yes. Highway 61 Revisited.
You know what? I gotta say, he had some freaking awesome album covers. God,
really
I'm not
did.
gonna lie. Like,
There's a fucking hilarious press conference. It's in black and white. It was after this came out, and the guy was like, "What does the motorcycle on your T-shirt mean? What's the meaning behind it? It's just a T-shirt. You haven't given it more thought than that?" No, he's like, "Well, I've given it a great deal of thought." He's like, "Sorry."
it's like, sorry. Yeah.
It's very good. Yeah. Well, you don't own fucking blonde
Blonde
on
on
blonde. That's perverse. Don't tell anyone. John Wesley Harding.
Oh wow. Okay. Damn, you got
that
quite a
one's
lot.
I do. I'm not done. This is the one with All Along the Watchtower on it.
Oh yeah.
Probably my favorite at the moment is Nashville Skyline.
Like
First song is a duet with Johnny Cash,
cool.
and it's a cover of the song from Freewheelin' Bob Dylan called "Girl from the North Country" or County. I always get it
Ooh.
wrong. And then Blood on the Tracks,
Blood on the Tracks.
which it's between these two for my. It depends on my mood. This is the happy album. This is the divorce album. So
Yeah, I see.
yeah, but I would love to go through a top 5 of these records. I think that'd be awesome.
If anything, we could just pick five albums, top 5 of the 5 Dylan albums or something,
And
like
then
that.
go into those.
Yeah, I'd be down because I definitely, especially after doing this list, it's like, oh, I wish I had more exposure to Dylan, and it's crazy because from you to I remember my cousin Joe was a huge Dylan fan. I know a lot of people who are so into Dylan and either are record collectors or people who play love to play Dylan Bob Dylan music. So I think that's it's something I want to explore even further because
I would love to.
yeah. And I've also been told by my dad himself, Dylan is one of those songwriters where some of those songs were, even though they were not as traditionally structured or whatever, I think he just does so well to tell a story and to write songs and to have you care about him and be engaged in him as you're listening to him. So, that's in these days that's really hard to do because everyone has the attention span of peanut or whatever. But but yeah, cool.
Very good.
I like that.
Right on.
I like.
I like
this.
it too. I'm
Bob
excited.
Dylan, dude.
I'm excited for the future.
Dylan.
Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you got a list for me, sir.
Yeah, I was I was just looking through some of our we have so many lists, dude, and I feel like we don't talk about these kind of movies, but the one I have for tonight is tearjerker movies. What movies just you watch them and you're like and it doesn't have to be super sad or super happy. It's like it could be anything, man, but a tearjerker movie, a movie that has made you so emotional that you are brought to tears, you're crying and just feel that certain way while watching it. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you for asking. So I'm gonna go with movies that make me cry. I've gotten more weepy as I get older. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. Like you just shit hits different.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I'm gonna change one last minute.
Ooh, we're gonna change up right here.
Yeah, and you know what? Tell me if this was on your list because I'll change it back. Okay.
Okay.
So number 5, I'm gonna go Field of Dreams.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Was that on your list? Okay, I will take it back. I'll take it back. Number 5, I'm going to do The Patriot.
Okay. Oh, and we've talked about the Patriot just recently.
Yes. The moment the there's only really one, well, there's, a bunch of his kids fucking die in this movie. But the death that really impacts me is the scene when Heath Ledger gets stabbed and Mel
Oh,
Gibson
man.
runs up and he holds Ledger as he's dying in his arms. Both of their acting is just incredible, and it just makes you crumble inside. Say what you will about Mel Gibson, the man can pretend that his son is dying. He's just all like, the way his lips tremble, the way, everything is incredible. Like, it's such a beautiful, it's a really heartbreaking, beautiful kind of piece of acting. Where you'd be like, the Roland Emmerich, The Patriot? No. Yes. I promise. Yeah. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, that's a very emotional scene for sure, dude.
Yeah.
Big scene.
Number 4, Shawnee, this is where we also might cross over. Do you have a Pixar film in your list?
I do. I know. There's a few of them in there.
Actually, there
are? No, I have a backup kind of.
I have 2, but I don't want to like.
I'll give you a clue.
Okay, then I'll go the other way.
Okay.
Number 4, Coco.
Oh, I just recently watched this last year, Coco, man, for the first time.
It's very good. It's one of their very best of all time, I think.
Yeah.
But it deals with death, and like, all Disney movies
to some degree,
to an extent, deal with death, and this was literal death, and it was the death of a grandparent, which we both, we know what that feels like. And I saw it 15 years after my nan passed away, and it hit me so hard the first time I watched it, or the only time I watched it, I guess. And it was, a beautiful story. It the best kind of stories are ones that can take a painful subject like death, and you're going to cry while you're going to watch it, but you're hopefully going to walk away having a new perspective or appreciation for whatever is no longer there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So stories and can help people in that way. And I think Pixar does that for the most part.
Yeah.
Nice. Number 3, Marriage Story.
Oh, I haven't seen this one, but I heard how intense this movie is. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it last November, like when I wasn't okay, and it got me. It got me. I'm just loud man blubbering on the couch watching it, but it's good. It's a very good. It's it's Kramer versus Kramer in 2021, slightly different, but kind of the same thing. And it's very good. Adam Driver and Scarlett Jo are very good, particularly Adam Driver. There we go. Number 2. Saving Private Ryan.
Ooh, I know. I probably know what scene you're gonna talk about.
Do you?
Is it the scene with Tom Hanks at kind of near the end, where he's like, "You earned this"?
No. He goes like this. He goes, "Earn this.
Earn this.
Earn it. Earn it." And then he dies. Yes, it is that moment. That moment fucking gets me in the tear ducts. And then they morph Matt Damon. And as the old man at the grave, he goes, "Tell me I'm a good man. Tell me I've lived a good life." And I'm like, I'm fucking crying thinking about it right now. It's such a strong moment.
Yeah.
And if you didn't cry during the scene when Vin Diesel gets shot, if you didn't cry when Giovanni Ribisi, has his guts laying on the ground next to him and he's crying for his mom, then Tom Hanks saying "earn this," and then seeing that person being like, "Did I?" is going to fucking wreck you, and deservedly so.
Yeah. And then that great shot of just all the different crosses, right, in the graveyard.
And the Stars of David. And,
Yeah, and just showing the obviously, the war, death and war, and then the one person that was tasked to be saved, right, and that's why he has that kind of feeling of, do I deserve this to be, alive, but in the place of some of his, his friends and brothers who were at the war or in the war who died in war. So heavy, man. Yeah.
Heavy movie. Beautiful movie. Number one, My Dog Skip.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's not even that much of a tearjerker, but the ending, because the dog looks kind of like Marty. I just hear the narrator going, Skip died when I was in college, and they bundled him up in my Letterman, spoilers, bundled him up in my Letterman jacket and buried him out in the front yard. And I'm just like, the last time I watched that, I just walked around cradling Marty for like 2 hours crying. And just so it's like, it's a really sweet, lovely, good movie. And then, the epilogue or whatever, of course, if he's talking about years into the future, of course the dog passed. It's not really a spoiler. The dog doesn't die in the proper story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that gets me. That really gets me, because it's my son. It's my boy.
Yeah. Especially with I got my two boys over here. My cat's just chilling.
That's
They're probably
right.
super hungry right now because hey guy. But yeah, it's anything to do with the experience of having pets for sure, and having some either a dog or cat that's really close to you. That's hard to
It's an important relationship.
Yeah, and it's a hard subject to touch on because you never know what's gonna happen, and very thankful for these guys every day.
Absolutely.
Dude, wow. That's a very I like the list, man, because
it's a really good list.
It's got so many different movies and different types of movies in there that kind of give you those different feelings, and different feelings of tear jerking feeling. I don't know. Whatever. Trying to spin that into the title, that didn't work. Anyways,
Shawnee.
It's tears, bringing the tears, y'all.
What are the top 5 movies you like to tear jerk to?
Oh, tear jerking. Sorry. As you mentioned before, Field of Dreams is my number 5. It's one of my dad. I've mentioned before. It's one of my dad's favorite films. It does, one of the moments where it really kind of hits you is when obviously Kevin Costner's character is tasked to build this. If you build it, he will. They will come, or he will come, right? And he builds this baseball field in the middle of a cornfield, and all these, ghosts of these different baseball players come, and you're, throughout the whole movie, you're thinking, oh, he's bringing back just kind of these kind of past players, but the whole meaning and message behind "if you build it, he will come" means, you will eventually be reunited with your father, who was
with your daddy,
who was a baseball player, and it's obviously, this story has themes of fatherhood and, kind of being a father, a husband, and all these kind of different roles, and maybe the estranged relationship he had with his father throughout his life. And then there's just this awesome, there's this great moment at the end where, you've gotten used to seeing all these ghosts from the past, and it's just literally him, Kevin Costner's character, and his father on the field, just the two of them, and just playing as it is a simple game of catch with each other. And it's just such an emotional moment.
You want to have a catch.
You want to have a catch. I know, it's so. And then I think is that near the end? Because now and then they pan away.
Like the last, yeah.
They pan away.
All the cars are coming.
All the cars are just going to
they'll save the farm.
Yes, exactly. So there's all that kind of finalizes too with the story, but it's just that simple. it's been this whole thing about, him losing, almost losing his farm, and people thinking he's crazy because he's trying to build a baseball field in the middle of the farm, and he's believing that ghosts are, from these different teams are coming back. So it's and there's a lot of doubt that happens, to his character. He's being tested a lot throughout the movie, and there's a moment where it's just all it is just being reunited with his father. So yeah, it's a very emotional movie for sure. So definitely
Yes.
tears you up. Number 4, Pixar movie. Probably the one that I think most people will kind of go to, but I still get very emotional. It's Up. And what's so
Yeah.
crazy about this is the most emotional part. I mean, there's some moments throughout the movie that kind of hit home, but they give you this story at the beginning of these these two lovers, and obviously the main character, the old man in Up, loses his longtime wife, and they just give you this literally like their whole kind of like life story in the first like few moments of the the first act.
That is masterclass storytelling.
It is.
That is because you are weeping for these people you do not even know yet.
No, yeah, at the very beginning of
And-
the story. And it just always hits me when I watch that film, and it's almost now when I watch it, it's like, man, I gotta prepare for this section of the movie, which is literally the first thing I'm gonna watch. So.
I thought you were gonna say I got to prepare for this section of my life. I thought that's
Yeah,
literally what you were about
no.
to say. Because like me too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Um,
and of course, like you mentioned, with a lot of Pixar and Disney stuff, it deals with death and kind of how all sorts of people deal with that, and even as an old man who's lost someone who his love of his life, who's been around all his most of his life, that's a huge thing, and there's a lot of things you can pull from it that maybe you can relate to or you can see in other people, and I think that's that's a really hard-hitting emotional movie just from the get-go, and yeah, it's but again, it starting from there, even though it is a lot at the beginning, it as it goes, weirdly enough, as it progresses and goes up the film, there's those moments where they hit even stronger as it kind of continues on, and you can see kind of the character see the light and see kind of change happen. So yeah, number 4, Up, doing some Pixar.
Lovely.
Number 3, this one, I don't know. It's I do get emotional at times when I see this, because it is pretty sad sometimes when you watch it in a certain context. It's Eternal Sunshine, Spotless Mind.
Ooh. Yeah, it looks too painful. I've never been able to.
Yeah, and it's obviously it's one of my I mean, for Jim Carrey especially to play this kind of dramatic role. I don't know if you know too much about it, Joe, but not to spoil it.
Yeah.
But it deals with kind of your memories of a past lover, and how it visually showing you that, and that's I mean, so I don't know if there's one moment I can pick out of the movie, but there are moments where you're like, oh, this, if I had the ability to maybe like erase a memory of like a past relationship, past lover, past girlfriend or whatever, would you, I guess the question is, would you want to do that? And would that either change who you are, or, kind of the experiences of who you are today? Maybe it is okay to grasp that sort of memory of them because of those reasons. So there's a lot of like questions that are being thrown at you too, as far as like if you had the ability to do that in real life. And so it deals with that, and yeah, and they do a really good job visually showing you that, showing how someone can like just disappear from your memory in that way. So it gets, yeah, it's very emotional and sad, because it is like pretty much like ripping the literal memories of your relationship out of you. So and of course obviously there's a lot of I love the soundtrack in the film too, and some of those songs kind of hit home. They're not like lyrical songs, but the soundtrack and just kind of the situations that Jim Carrey gets put in, it really kind of there's some relatable moments that I can pick from, or there's like, yeah, there's just kind of those moments of like, oh man, like, it is a very questioning type thing where it's like, man, can I do this? Is that even possible to like forget about someone like that way? So, yeah, Eternal Sunshine, hard hitting movie. I think one day you should watch it though, Joe, for sure.
One day. One day.
Number 2, I've got a movie called Big Fish. I don't know if you've seen this one, Joey.
Yes.
Weirdly enough, the big moment. Long story short, it's about like this son and father. Son is kind of married, which he's an adult now and everything like that. But all his life, his father has told him kind of like little white, like I would say not white lies, but like very exaggerated stories. I would say, right? And on I guess his father's deathbed, he's kind of had this like again kind of a strange relationship with his father because he just doesn't know what is true in like the stories he's told him over the years. He doesn't know who his dad is because he doesn't believe these stories that he's told him throughout his life and these kind of exaggerations. And that's what they mean by the title Big Fish in the film. And one of the moments, spoiler if you haven't seen this film, but I think you should definitely watch it. There's a moment at the end. The father obviously passes away, and throughout the movie, as the father's telling the son these stories on his deathbed, they kind of play out, that kind of flashback it a little bit, and you start to see at his funeral all the people that he mentioned in the story, and I think his father was part of like a carnival at one point, and there, he told about stories about giants and all these kind of weird things, and what do you know? There's like these people who he's described so detailed to his son over the years show up to pay their respect to the father, and it's just this moment of like clarity and yeah, just like that moment where he had the son had so much doubt about his father and who he was, and and maybe that reflected on maybe how he expressed his love for him, maybe, or maybe he saw it a different way. And I just thought that moment was very strong and very emotional, where it's like, wow, all these people, the father has made such an effect and influence on all these people around him that he's met throughout his life. And that's kind of always been the kind of characteristic that his father has always been. And maybe the son didn't see that at that moment, but seeing all these people around him show that he really did make he really did reach out to these people and make friends with these, with all sorts of people. So yeah, it's a very emotional moment. And that kind of, weirdly enough, that realization that the son has also kind of hits home too. It's like, oh, my father was this kind of, this person was this kind of welcoming person. So, and very accepting. So yeah, it's a very emotional moment near the end. So
Yes.
yeah, that's number 2. And number 1, it's kind of it's a typical movie, I would say, but I still get so sad about this movie all the time. It's Forrest Gump, dude. There's a lot of tear-jerking moments in Forrest Gump. Although on the car ride today with this the photo shoot, we had a debate on the worthiness of Jenny in Forrest Gump.
Jenny.
What was being said was that Jenny was a piece of shit, and she's
pretty terrible to Forrest.
Yeah.
She's also from a fucked up situation. You know what I mean? Like she
Exactly,
doesn't know
yeah.
how to love.
Yeah.
She wants that love, but she don't know how to get it or receive it and reciprocate it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a roller coaster of those kind of things in there. With Forrest Gump, I think there's a lot of moments. I mean, there's moments, obviously, I mean, my favorite one is Lieutenant Dan. Like
He's wonderful.
The moment where he, there's obviously they set it up where, after the war, Lieutenant Dan loses his legs, and you can tell that he obviously almost sometimes blames Forrest for saving his life, because he's like, I should have died on the battlefield. I just like my previous, family or people in the war. And, I'm not worthy, he said, I'm, pretty much not worthy of living because of these reasons. And seeing that moment where Lieutenant Dan shows up at like when he gets the fish boat and the shrimp boat, and he's like, "Oh, Lieutenant Dan, you got your sea legs on," and it's just great because they're, you could see, even though Forrest Gump doesn't necessarily consciously like say, "Hey, I'm doing these good things for people," or I'm kind of influencing these people to the positive. He does kind of rub off on everyone, and Lieutenant Dan kind of comes around, and that's just a great moment. And there's that moment where he like Lieutenant Dan like jumps out to the ocean or something, and he's kind of accepted that he's happy to be alive and maybe part of this kind of partnership with Forrest, and then there's the end, like the with Jenny and his whole thing with Jenny, and unfortunately she has, I forgot, she has like AIDS or something, or she has a sickness of some sort at that time, and there's a moment where Forrest finds out he has a son with her, and that's just like a huge moment.
But like, did he really?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, we could question that, I guess.
I think
I always assumed
that's
I always
to interpretation.
Yeah, but there's that moment where he's like, is he like me? He's like, so I assume like this is your kid.
No,
but
he was asking like, is he simple like me?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that
like,
is he like slow? Like,
yes,
yeah.
Is
But
he
that-
slow?
but that's what I
Is he
like.
slow? Juicy. That's a Baby Driver reference. Is he slow? Is he slow? Remember that? No. Watch it again.
Watch it again. Yeah, that was sad because the whole movie is about pretty much Forrest Gump doing all he can for Jenny and stuff. So it's like it's a moment for sure. And then then they kind of bookend it with how it started. Forrest sitting at the bus stop, and
the feather.
yeah, and there's a lot of moments in that movie. Obviously they deal with death a lot. With his mom passing away, and his mom was all he had at one point. And it's there's just a lot of, for a movie like that, there's a lot of like different themes that hit throughout it. And that's what was maybe so emotional about it, where you're kind of along for that ride. And and of course Tom Hanks killed it as Forrest Gump. So
He did.
yeah, those are my tear jerkers. Some of them are like, very. It depends, I guess, on like how you interpret it, maybe. But some of them are very, very emotional because they give you moments of loss or moments of maybe unworthiness, or not unworthiness, helplessness, maybe, or like that. So, but yeah, that's my top 5.
That's a good top 5, sir.
Yeah.
These were good lists. I have to say, I'm a fan.
I like it. It's like a nice little mix up of some sads and some
sads and
some sads for Dylan.
Singing.
Some singing.
Yeah. Jonathan, do you have anything you'd like to share with our dear, sweet, lovely imaginary audience this week?
Yeah. So we were sharing some vinyl today. I liked how Joey brought out his Dylan records.
Thank you for encouraging me. I love pulling out vinyl.
Yeah, I think you might like this because I'm not sure if you listen to this band, but this band Hiatus Coyote, I've been following for the last few years. It's been since 2000, I think 14 or 15, since they last released a record. And these guys just released a record, was it last week, called Mood Valiant. And it's kind of cool because when you hit the light, so the red and this kind of the titles, it's like that kind of foil look or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I pre-ordered this. It literally arrived like the day of the record release or whatever.
Very cool. Love when that happens.
But Napalm, the lead singer, she was going through breast cancer when this album was conceived, and there's a great, in the inside jacket, there's a great message from her, just kind of highlighting that this is something that she had to deal with her mom, because she had breast cancer too, and some of the songs. I wouldn't say all the songs are inspired by her experiences with that, but I think she, I felt like, maybe this was an album that kind of channeled her experiences with that. And, it's hard. And, I think that's probably why they haven't toured or maybe played or recorded a bunch of songs in the last few years, is because those kind of life experiences that happen, and sometimes they're out of your control. So I thought that was really really interesting, and it kind of adds like another layer to the record when I listen to it. This is cool though. I did the pre-order, and it's actually you can't really see it, but it's actually a glow in the dark album.
Oh, I love that. I fucking love that.
super
That's
cool.
awesome.
So when I listen to it at night, and maybe I have my lights on like this, and I turn it off, I can just see it spinning like in glow in the dark.
Fuck yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Is she okay now?
Yeah, she is. I think
Thank God.
she's
Okay,
a
cool.
survivor of breast cancer, and she's been very vocal about it, which is great. I think that's it's always good to hear from obviously the survivors and people who are experiencing that. And yeah, as someone who is in a band like this, and they're kind of on the, I feel like they're known, but they're like on that cusp of like they could be like super big in the next few years, kind of thing, in America specifically. But yeah, they have such a really supportive like fan base, and I really like their music. It's very chill, and but yeah, I thought that was a very interesting aspect of getting this record, and just like kind of listening to it and maybe having that in mind. Another thing that I've never seen this really before, there's Braille on this record. I
Oh,
don't know if
that's
you could see
cool.
that,
Yeah.
which I just noticed.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Mood Valiant, it just came out I think it was last week, and yeah, I'm excited.
Good record?
It's a good record. These guys are, I mean, they're very talented musicians, and I think they deserve definitely the light of as far as people discovering them and everything. And I've introduced them to a whole bunch of people because I'm just like, I love this band. This is this band is, and it's great. It's great to see especially after this pandemic, people like releasing music and stuff. So it's really cool to see that. So that's my share for this week.
Love that. It was a good share, man.
Thank you. Do you have anything to share, Joey?
Yesterday I watched Joe Rogan talk to Quentin Tarantino.
Dude, I wanted to watch that. I'm actually probably going to watch it after this.
Good. Twitter's blown up. Oh, fucking Quentin Tarantino with, the Quentin Tarantino hot takes. I love everything he said. Joe Rogan kind of take him or leave him, but when he has a good guest on, fucking
it's
take him. And
it's a
Quentin
very
Tarantino
watchable
is
show.
a
Yeah.
great guest.
Mhm.
They really talk his whole career. Everything.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. They talk all the controversies, or most of them. They talk about Weinstein. They talk about everything, and it's so good.
Okay.
The one thing I don't think they talked about was when Uma Thurman kind of called him out for putting her in danger. That's the only thing they didn't really touch on. But everything else, from Margot Robbie not having any lines in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to the Bruce Lee stuff. He goes on about the Bruce Lee stuff.
Okay.
People are getting people are wagging the finger right now on Twitter, but it's like, well, okay. He talks his retirement. It's so fucking great. If you like, it made me throw on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as soon as the interview ended.
Okay.
So check it out. It's a good watch. Yeah. I haven't been like this stoked on Tarantino in a very long time.
Yeah, it's popped up in my feed a bunch, and I usually, sometimes I watch like the Joe Rogan clips on YouTube, but I have it on Spotify, so I'm like, I think
you want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. Dude, okay, cool. I'm gonna definitely check that out. I think someone mentioned, actually today when we were doing the photo shoot, someone mentioned it, like while we were just kind of having some downtime. But
Nice.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, do that.
Okay.
Do that. Cool, man. Jonathan, where can we find more of your work on the internet this week?
You guys can find me at Sean Day Music on Instagram and on my website, seandaymusic.net. Yes. Joey, where can we find you on the interwebs?
You can check me out on Twitter and on Instagram at Joey Parati and on my website, joeyparati.com. You can check out the show at Top 5 Pod. That's TOPFIVE 5 POD on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube at gmail.com, and on Facebook at Top 5 Podcast. We're on Anchor, Apple Music, Google Play, SoundCloud, and all the rest. So please give us a like, give us a listen, give us a follow, give us your love, and we will give you
All along the watchtower loves on return. I don't know. I just said all.
Along the watchtowers in return. Until next time, I'm Joey Broad.
And I'm Sean Day. Thanks for listening. Hey, hey, hey.